It's Teeter and DG, second and third, toggling back between those two spots. Theta is in first.
Now we're seeing some heavyweights slug it out in the backstretch here. Josh Herbst just cruised by Judah Thompson there.
Dwyer Wolf is on right now for BKB.
They've only finished off the podium for like a third of races that we've had in Little Five. But they have not won since 2018.
The white flag is ready. Wagner around turn number 4.
Capella makes the final turn.
Like, I wanted, win or lose, us to like go out there, and I was like, you know, if we're dead at lap 70 and we're in the race to lap 70, like, that's that.
I did have a lot of nerves. And my heart rate was super high every time I was on the bike, because I was like, man, all I can think about is being on the track during the Little 500.
Like, I had a moment in the pack, and then a moment when like a move was thrown, and I was like, okay, and like, this is it. Like, finally, like, I get to prove that like I trained and I can go get that. Like, I'm not gonna wait for someone else to go get it. But I was like, okay, like, this is the moment you wanted, so like, you got it. And it was just like, I was like, that was the 4 years, like, for that. Like, not to win, but to like do the race and know I was prepared to do it, and know I had a team behind me that like, no matter what happened to my set, like, they were gonna go do their best too.
One moment that I never even thought would have happened that really sticks out with me is on my last set, in those last 10 laps, when I was passing people with like my head down, just trying to bury myself, I heard like riders on the bike actually like cheering for me and like say my name and being like, go BKB, like, win it. And that's just a level of sportsmanship I've never experienced. The fact that you're like also 2 hours deep into this like hellish, grueling race, and you're choosing to like use your energy to cheer for us, that was pretty magical.
I remember like a lot of teams that like we were going past like on the inside, like when we were finally like off the front, like they were cheering us on, and like I remember hearing like going past our pit, I remember like hearing all the Theta fans cheering, and that was so cool. And then there was like alum that were in turn 1, so I could hear them. I would ride past the Zana pit on the backstretch, and I could hear all of like the Melanzana girls like cheering me on.
After not qualifying last year, we made a lot of changes. We had days dedicated to like exchanges and quals work, and then additionally on top of that, we were really just making sure it was like a lot more collaborative an environment. So we did a lot more like team building activities and hanging out with each other off the bike.
I think a huge part of last year was a lot of rebuilding, because they'd graduated 3 seniors. And then just with Audrey, it was really cool to kind of work with her and grow. And then obviously with the addition of Greta, who's our freshman, she was just, you know, that final little puzzle piece that kind of came in and just clicked and made everything work really well.
The lead up to the race for me was actually really stressful. I mean, for everyone in the field, they're all waiting for this one day. And that whole week, I was just thinking about the moment I touched the track and how I was gonna feel and react to the situation that I was placed in. But throughout that whole week, like, my heart rate on rides was constantly way higher than it's been in the past. But once I got onto the track, I actually felt really calm and composed. And I really just trusted my training and trusted my teammates, and we were able to get it done.
Well, so I did feel calm leading up to the whole race until I went out and stood in the pit, and I was like, shoot, this is gonna be fun. So everything was going pretty smoothly, and then of course the fall happens, and it was just unfortunate how it all happened. Like, there's no way to avoid like going down. I mean, my only goal is just get back to the pack.
When SAU was off the front, we didn't really worry, because we figured they're not going to be able to hold it the whole time. But by the time they made it around and could see the back of our pack, every team that was in contention for the win was like, we have to shut this down right now, because if not, the race is over. Jordan, our coach, walks over to me and he goes, I'm going to have to put you out there, and you're going to have to burn a lot of matches to help pull this gap back. Between me, Jack, and McGuire, keeping Will fresh for the end just in case, we managed to pull that gap down.
I think when that kind of series of unfortunate events with Teeter, and I got on the bike and I looked back and I realized, you know, it was Teeter, and I saw that it was DG and us, and I got off the bike and Greta got on, and she ended up pulling through and she just went. We rode a pretty smart race, I feel like. at the beginning, so we hadn't, burned all of our matches.
Yeah, so I think right before I got on the bike at the end, I took a couple deep breaths and told myself this is what we've been training for all year. And thinking about it, it was only like 2.5 minutes for the 4 laps. So being able to translate a same strategy that I use for ITTs and pacing, it made me feel like I've been here doing the same situation all year, and this is no different from that.
Will Wagner's got some work to do around turn 4. The comeback is complete. Black Key Bulls wins the 2024 Little 500.
And the most storied team in the history of the Women's Little 5 has added a page to the record book. Theta is back on the throne. They hold the crown for the 9th time in Little 500 history.
I really didn't let myself even think about that until, I crossed the line. I was like, I can't do it because, it's bike racing. You just don't know what happens. Because around lap 90 and somebody on the announcements was, oh, they have a blistering lap. And I was like, ooh. So it wasn't until I saw the checkered flag that it was won.
198, right when Will had 2 laps to go. I just remember covering my mouth and I was like, oh my gosh, and a tear went down my face. I was like, we got it in the bag. And it was just like overwhelming emotions I couldn't even control.
I just couldn't comprehend it. I was like, there's no way that's real, that it was actually us. Because I think too, I watched so many race tapes and watching people win. By watching them my junior year, I was like, must be nice, but not everyone gets that, so it can't be about that. You don't cross the line and become a different person, and I think it's important to remember that. I feel like I crossed the line and I was more I really enjoyed the process getting here, and watching the girls race well, I enjoyed watching them grow up more than us crossing the finish line and holding up a trophy.